One, two, three. Welcome
Welcome
to the
to Wild
Wild
Woman.
Woman. So, Camille, how did we meet?
Okay, we met, I think 1 year ago. Like we did this in
Yes.
May.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Well,
year ago at the life coach certification.
exactly. And why did we connect or build a little relationship within the group of people that we were with?
Well, we were around the same age.
Yeah. So that's about half the age of everybody there. What kind of things did we learn at this life coaching certification?
How to be a coach, a
Coach.
life coach.
Mm. So what kind of things, what does it mean to be a life coach?
Um, okay, so here's like how I see it. So it's kind of like therapy, but it's not therapy in the sense that like therapy is really about healing the past and learning how to develop coping mechanisms and all that stuff. While life coaching is more about having a plan, having accountability, having support, and going forward in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Having, yeah.
exactly. So as coaches, we help people basically align their goals and figure out how to achieve those goals in a step-by-step process. Because a lot of people, what they do is they have all these goals, but they have no idea how to get there, or they start trying to achieve that goal, and there's challenges that come up and issues that they feel makes it too hard to keep pursuing their goal, so they just stop. So
Yeah, and sometimes they simply just don't have the confidence to,
mhm.
like
Exactly. So as coaches, we're just that voice of support. We're just that voice of accountability, just to tell them that they have agency over their lives and they have the ability to, achieve whatever they want to achieve. So why did you attend the life coaching course?
because I wanted to be a life coach. Well, I'm studying in social work, right? So like I do want to do some kind of counseling therapy. But I myself had some coaches in the past. I mean, I still do. And I really find the two so different but so similar at the same time, and I want to be able to do both.
Mhm. So for me, the whole idea about coaching was very interesting to me just because I really love people and I love connecting with people. And not that I like criticizing people, but I like finding issues and figuring out how
Calling out their bullshit, right?
like fixing those issues. And I'm kind of I can be a little bit, how do I put it? Hmm. I empathize with people, but at the same time, like I can sense bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna tell someone if they're self-pitying themselves. And the
Mhm.
reason why I'm that way is because I self-pity myself a lot. And growing up, and like a lot of the reasons why I struggled with certain things was because I blamed other things for the issues I had instead of holding myself accountable for those issues. And it's something that I think everyone struggles with, and it always helps to have someone just there holding you accountable for those times where you are self-pitying.
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of people are in the victim mentality.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that like you can't be in that mentality, like definitely like it's important to feel that pain, like if you are emotional about certain things and so on, then yeah, definitely
It's
accept
about
it, but don't
empowerment, right?
relinquish in it. Pardon?
It's about empowerment, and as long as you're in that mentality, you don't take back your power.
Mm-hmm. So Camille, do you want to tell us about your story a little bit?
Okay. What do you want to know first?
Mm. If you had to figure out a point in your life where you were your lowest? What was going on in your life and why were there issues?
I guess it would be in high school. I was kind of loner in the sense that like I really didn't like to socialize. I went to school, I came back home, and that was about it. Um, I mean, I went on like concerts and stuff, but always on my own. I had social anxiety. Talking to new people was not easy for me, and I had depression. So just doing like small tasks was really hard. I remember like I used to spend days staying in bed until like 11 noon, not because like, oh, like I wanted to chill, but because it was so hard just to get myself out of that mindset of like, I don't have the energy, I can't do it. Um, and I had an eating disorder as well. So,
Yeah. So that would have decreased your energy too, right?
oh, definitely, yeah.
And that's one of the really ironic things um, about it, like mental illness is that you end up developing symptoms that at the time make you feel better, like staying in bed probably felt better than getting out of bed,
Mm-hmm.
when in reality, if you had just gotten out of bed, then you probably would have felt better.
Well, it's a
Like,
cycle.
yeah, exactly. And it's that vicious cycle. And same thing with eating disorders, too, you know?
And that's one thing that we did connect over with is because we both had issues with like food and our relationship with our
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of where my story began. Like in high school, I was super social, but like almost like excessively so. Like I got into quite a bit of trouble in high school. Not like an insane amount of trouble, but like enough trouble where like I was a little bit of a bad child. Um, but for me, it didn't really hit until my first year of university that things kind of got out of control. That's when my eating disorder got really bad. And I was a competitive athlete, and I've been a competitive athlete since I was like 3 years old. It started with dance, and then as I got older, it switched to golf, and I ended up getting a golf scholarship to the States. And yeah, I left the house at 17 to move down to Virginia. I think that big change just triggered a lot of issues for me, including some sexual traumas that I had encountered like in the summer before I left and never really dealt with. And so, like, a lot of, bad thoughts and bad experiences ended up being triggered while I was down there. There's a lot of pressure from, especially golf. Like, I just felt like I wasn't playing well enough. And even if the coach wasn't that hard on me, I was really hard on myself. To this day, like, I have to be careful of being hard on myself. And like, it's good to be hard on yourself. Like, that's how you push yourself. But to being hard on yourself to the extent where you stop enjoying life and stop enjoying the things that you're doing, that's what really holds people back. So like there's self-pitying, but there's also like the other end of the spectrum where you're doing almost the opposite. All of it is just self-destructive in the end,
Yeah,
right?
like wanting perfection.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a bit about what this series is gonna entail and what kind of things we're gonna be talking about.
Well, we're mostly going to talk about like different parts of self-care. Not necessarily the like bath bomb face mask kind of self-care, more of the mental, physical, and well, mind body self-care. We'll talk about many different subjects. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So, like Camille said, we're not talking about like the self-care that a lot of people think of like when they hear the word self-care. We're talking about the not so pretty parts, like doing a workout that really sucks, but you haven't done one in a week and you really have to take care of your body. Yeah, sure, you'll be gross, you're gonna sweat, you're not gonna feel good. But you have to do that workout. We're going to be talking about stuff like getting your finances in order. I'm still really bad at that, but like
Oh, me
we
too.
can still talk about the fact that you have to plan for the future, and sometimes you will not be able to go out for drinks or go to the movies, but there's other ways to save money and still enjoy time with friends and family. We're going to be talking about things like the
Sex and dating.
exactly sex and dating, which isn't too pretty right now with this whole quarantine thing going on.
Yeah, and also we're gonna be talking a little bit more about like food relationship and the relationship with our body, like self-image. So what's interesting with us is that we're both gonna be talking about like how to be physically active, and we're gonna talk about like both sides. So there's like the fitness industry, and then there's like the anti-diet one. And like I'm more into the anti-diet one, and Sarah is more into the fitness industry. So we're like gonna bring both sides in.
One thing that like I do want to voice when it comes to the fitness industry is that it can get a really bad rap from my anti-diet friends. um, but at the same time, like there's a lot of good things that we can learn from it, like learning about different micronutrients, learning when to do cardio and when to do weightlifting, learning how to listen to your body and like knowing when you're injured and knowing when you're not hydrated enough. Like there's a bunch of like little intricacies that you learn through the fitness industry that's just really helpful to like fitness in general, even like new people going to the gym. Right, Camille?
Yeah, yeah, it's like all about like not taking it to extremes.
Yeah, balance.
Mhm.
Our body is in this type of balance called homeostasis most of the time. And if we do anything to ruin that, our bodies go a little haywire. And that's when issues pop up, right?
Yeah, we're also going to be talking about like sleep and school and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lots of different topics.
Yeah, for sure. So let's end this little blurb about talking about school. So, what we're doing in school right now. So, Camille, what are you studying or what have you just graduated from?
Social work. I just finished my BA in social work. I did do a certificate in social work as well at last year, which is a college. And I'm doing another BA in psychology starting in September.
Very
What
exciting.
about you?
Well, I'm doing a double major in sociology and anthropology. I'm in my third year. I did originally go to university for biochemistry, so I spent a year and a half studying that. Obviously, it didn't work out too well, but studying science definitely has influenced me in the last couple years doing anthro and sociology, and I'm very, very interested in medical anthropology.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit more about what is that?
So the core basis of anthropology is studying real life experience of people. When an anthropologist is researching and creating papers and books and so on, they're usually using a small demographic of people, but they're very intimately connected with these people. So they'll live day to day with these people. And so, for example, if I were studying eating disorders in a hospital, I would be almost living with these patients and speaking with them every day. I'm trying to understand their life experiences. Obviously, I'd have to go in with a research question. So it could be something like, is recovery really possible with eating disorders? That's a very, very rich question when it comes to eating disorders. A lot of people ask that all the time, like if it's
Yeah.
even possible. So like an anthropologist would be gathering data based on the lived experiences of the patients to try and answer a question like that.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I mean, I think for like questions like that, you should be asking the one that are recovered, not the one that are struggling, but for sure.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I guess all sides would be helpful.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
think that's also something that we are able to help people with, right? It's because we have lived experiences, and that's why like we're on the other side now and we can guide them.
Yeah, exactly. And even though like we use the term we're on the other side, it's not like we don't still have issues that come up every now and then, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's making sure that you take care of those issues before they get worse.